Hi friends! Today I'm finally going to get the Renault 5 GT Turbo engine ready to go back into the car. For those of you that haven't watched my previous videos, I've pulled this engine from the car a few weeks ago and then fully disassembled it. I repainted many parts and then started rebuilding it. This is what we're at right now. I actually wanted to rebuild the entire lung block last week, but I didn't have an oil sump since the original one was badly damaged and I was still looking for a new one. I was actually going to pick up a new oil sump yesterday so I could fully rebuild the engine today, but the seller asked me to pick up the oil sump today, so I'll do that later today. But since I still have half a day to work on this engine and I don't want to lose any time since I only have Saturdays to work on cars, I decided I would just install as many parts as I can for now and then I'll pick up the oil sump and fix the rest. Okay, so I actually wanted to get started today by installing the timing chain cover, but as you can see, it's pretty ugly, so it really needs a new layer of paint before I can install it. But the bolts that keep the timing chain cover in place are pretty ugly as well. So I figured I'd just sand the cover, then install it on the engine, and then repaint it once everything's in place, so I can repaint the bolts as well in one go. I know it's a bit weird to paint it once it's installed, but I think that's the best idea for now. Let's go and remove this little seal first, because I'll install a new one. And now let's get to sanding. I've already sanded this surface where the new gasket is going to be. So now I'm just going to clean it. And then we can install the cover. Okay, so Renault uses these cork gaskets, but since they often seem to leak, I'm going to put some liquid gasket on top. Just a tiny bit, but just to make sure that it's properly sealed. Okay, before I'm going to repaint the timing chain cover, I'm going to sand and degrease this surface because I want to install the water pump today as well. And I don't want any sanding dust and bits of gasket falling onto my fresh paint. So I'm quickly going to try and cover all the parts I'm not going to paint. And yeah, then we'll add a new layer of paint. I do have to be really careful not to touch it because it won't be fully dried today. And I still gotta install some parts. Where's the opening in this? Oh, here. I'm just degreasing this with some brake cleaner and then I'm going to paint it using engine paint, which doesn't require primer, so that's cool. I think that looks a whole lot better already. Now let's remove the tape and everything. Now I want to install the water pump next, but I guess it needs some cleaning first. It does look pretty good still, but it's a little bit dirty. Now let's put the pulley in place, which matches the color of the valve cover. And then I'll add the pulley on the crankshaft after installing the seal. And I think this will really make the engine come together with all the bronze parts. Okay, now I'm going to try and install this crankshaft seal without damaging the fresh paint. And I think I'm going to fail, but because I'm a bit clumsy sometimes, but let's give it a try. I somehow managed to do it without damaging the timing chain cover. Isn't that nice? Look at that color combination. It looks awesome, doesn't it? Well, I really like it. Okay, I don't have much time left, so now I'm going to install the ignition and then I'm going to pick up the oil sump. I already put cylinder 1 at top dead center, so now I just gotta install this thing. Wait, let me get a lamp. Well, that's really starting to look like an engine again. Now I gotta go and then I'll get back to you once I picked up the oil sump. Hi, it's now a few days later and I'm back with the new oil sump. So let's go and install it right away. Oh, and before I forget, I still gotta install the oil pump. I've already sanded this surface, so now all I've left to do is degrease it and then we can prepare the gasket on my workbench. This is the gasket I'm going to use, and since it's cork, I'm going to add a really thin layer of liquid gasket as well. By the way, I totally forgot to mention the fact that this engine has a modified oil sump and oil pump to make it fit better into the car. This is because my friend, who is also the owner of this car, swapped this engine into his DAF. Therefore, this gasket's a little different than the one originally used on a Renault 5 GT turbo engine. So just in case you're building one of these engines yourself, do know that this part will look a bit different. Now I'm just going to add a little layer of liquid gasket on top as well. And I'm mainly focusing on the parts where the two different gaskets connect. Now let's install the oil sump. Hopefully I can get it in place because it was a pain in the ass to remove because of this little pipe that touches the oil pump. Okay, I ran into a little problem because I got this pipe welded because it was missing in this oil sump and I can't weld myself. But the person who welded this put the pipe a little bit too far to that side, I believe. So now it doesn't fit over the oil pump. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the oil pump again and then put it over the little pipe so that this part doesn't touch it and I can put the oil sump in place, and then hopefully I can get in between the engine block and the oil sump still to fasten these bolts, or else I'll have to get the oil sump re-welded, but that would be a shame because I want to finish the long block right now. Okay, so I've got a little room, but I think I can still reach these bolts. Alright, the oil sump's in place. I'm really happy that I was able to install it this way. It wasn't the easiest, but I got it done. Alright, the oil sump's in place, which took me a bit longer than expected due to the little pipe being in the way. But we got it done. Since I got here right after work, it's gotten pretty late already and I still have to drive 1.5 hours to my home, and I have work tomorrow morning as well. So I'm going to call it a day for now. I'll get back to you next week to install the last few parts and get everything ready to install the engine back into the car. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!